trying to make this easy on your wife.
Stop.
Hey guys, welcome to Couples Counseling once again. I hear that we had an issue with something called mankeeping lately. Alex?
Not lately.
Not lately. Okay.
I mean, lately in the sense of all of a sudden it just happened.
This has been something going on for a while. For the entire relationship, perhaps.
20 years.
12 years?
20. Well, married for 12, but...
You've known each other for 20 years?
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's a little bit of disgust in that expression.
No, it's just terrifying because I don't feel much older than 20. So the fact that you could have known your wife for 20 years just makes me feel very old.
Our maturity levels are still 20.
Yeah,
so
they're still fine. She was watching was it Jackass 4 the other day?
Oh, nice.
4.5, which is like the commentary version. Is like they splice the commentary into the film, and I'm like, well, if I want to watch a commentary, I would just
they do like interview segments. I like it.
Get to the funny stuff.
Okay, we're not talking about Jackass, Alex.
Okay, sorry.
We're not talking about Jackass.
Although it is funny, I was reading an interview with the filmmaker, and he was asking his actor how old, if he didn't know how old he was, how old would you think you were? And the guy said 32. And then they were like, yeah, what is it? Like, what is that age that you kind of something you get stuck in and think, this is what I'm always going to be 32 years old. Like I would have said 35. Like 35 feels like my...
That's literally, I was thinking like, okay, 35.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like that kind of happens the same way with like your fashion sense or your clothing, like what your go-to. Because like I always tell people like the way I dress on a regular basis is as if I'm an extra on the set of American Pie.
So the end of the story is you had to kiss the guy for 20 seconds.
Yes! And he was such a dork. And everyone laughed at me, but I didn't care because it was so funny.
Speaking of mankeeping,
yes.
I'm of course talking about a couple of articles that came out a couple of weeks ago, referring to the term mankeeping, which I had honestly never heard before. But once I started reading the articles, it became very familiar. Past relationships, just life in general, and men and women in general. And I said to Alex, hey, we should talk about this. And then we were thinking, well, Alex and I probably are going to have very close to similar opinions on this topic, which I mean, I guess is kind of frequent.
Yeah. And let's
invite Erica back. Yeah.
You know, one woman. Yes.
Well, that's more than we need.
No, just ignore it.
And so Erica thoughtfully agreed to join us again and give her thoughts on this topic as a woman, since this pertains very, very much to female feelings.
It's a term very close to my heart that I didn't actually know there was a term for it. So,
what is mankeeping, and how do I know if I'm doing it? Here you go, Erica. Now you'll know for sure.
Once, it took about 30 seconds. That's what she said.
To know that, yeah. You know that friend who always brings her boyfriend to the hang? Go home, Brad.
Yeah.
And seems 100% occupied with meeting his various needs, whether that means doing his laundry or making sure he's meeting up with friends and not succumbing to the male loneliness epidemic.
I honestly didn't realize that was an epidemic, but okay. Oh, there you go. Good lead in.
So maybe this is something for some other time, but I thought male loneliness was just being male. I don't. Yeah, right.
It's
Alex?
just Thursday for us.
Yeah, Alex knows what I'm not.
Isn't that a youth thing now that the youths just aren't hanging out or seeing people anymore? I didn't realize it was.
I think. Well, we had talked about how like the younger generation, like the younger millennials, and then like Gen Z tend to have a different way of socializing than we did, which they kind of do far less of it.
In fact, listen to next week's episode or perhaps last week's episode about this very subject. Alex.
No.
We recorded a segment about this.
Right. Um,
But so anyway, first right off the bat, I have to say, a girl who brings her boyfriend to hangouts with her girlfriends, that is not the guy's fault.
no. He's just going along because he wants to make her happy, and that's the goal, right, gentlemen?
She's being the
Happy
friend who
wife,
always
happy
brings
life.
her boyfriend to the hangout. Go home, Brad.
Yeah, if it's her bringing the guy to, if it's only girls, only women, then yeah, she
Yeah.
should not
He's
be.
fine being at home. Just leave us.
Granted, that is how
some
one of
food
our
and some
friends
drink.
met her husband.
Somebody brought
Yeah.
him to a girl
So it
event.
was supposed to be a girls' night,
Oh,
and
yes. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and
How
for
was
some
I there?
reason, well, it worked out that w- we were. It was kind of a twofer thing because we were meeting another couple there. So I brought you, and I'm pretty sure she was aware. My friend was aware of that, but then me
Oh.
not knowing that another friend brought her, was it boyfriend at the time? Boyfriend, the were they
Oh,
were they married? I
I
don't
don't
think they
know.
were married yet.
I have
I'd
no
have to
idea.
look up what year it was. But anyway, so then this poor friend that was the single female was not, having the best time, which is completely understandable. And then she ended up going up to the bar and talking to who she thought was a gay couple, but it was just a couple dudes hanging out, and that's how she ended up meeting her now husband.
See, that
Oh,
happens.
okay.
That happens to other people than just you and
Sorry,
me, buddy.
that was
No.
yeah.
So okay. So I thought it was somebody brought their boyfriend to an event who then the other girl stole the boyfriend and married
Oh,
him
no,
later
no, no,
on.
no,
That's
no.
what I was like. That's a very juicy story.
Yes, that would be much more interesting. No,
But so
it wasn't
but
that.
so you brought Alex to an event. Somebody else brought another guy, and then it was the single woman there between the
Yes.
three. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
of course. Well, that just was mean of you two. You two couples.
Hey, she,
Saying the
at
math.
least on my part, I told her in advance. She knew that this was happening,
But
like
why
that he was
did you?
coming with.
Why did you bring Alex with?
I honestly don't remember. We were somehow meeting another couple, and to me, it was one of those
Okay.
things in my head. It totally made sense. But
Oh,
either
The
way, she
girls' night
should
out.
thank me because she is now married to
That's
that
Even
gentleman.
That's
even
true.
before it happened, the pre-planned girls' night out didn't end up being girls' night out,
Yeah,
and it
your-
seems like it was kind of agreed upon.
two
your fault.
couples.
What- I
It's all
didn't-
Alex's fault.
Well, Andy was there too.
It's your fault. So
What
anyway,
about the other guy that was there?
anyway,
He was
moving
there
on.
because of you.
Could have had a
Um,
nice night of playing some
You
Xbox.
were trying to keep the male loneliness epidemic down, Alex.
Over
Is
a
it-
decade ago.
As
before
it
even
turns
occurred.
out, there's a word to describe this: mankeeper.
She's
all
a
of the
man-keeper.
All of the women, all the straight women out there are mankeeping now.
Mm.
Because that's what I think is interesting. Is so they say mankeeping refers to the emotional and social labor that straight women often take on in their relationships with straight men. So very specifically, straight women.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt, but okay. It's always straight men's fault. Everything in the world is straight men's fault.
Just another day in the
Generally,
week.
yeah.
That's another day in the week.
Most specifically, social connections.
Okay, so
okay,
like
so it
social
is.
gatherings and stuff like that.
Yes.
Get-togethers.
So this started in a 2024 Stanford study. That's where I was thinking of. And so somehow
Okay.
this came back into the limelight for some reason. The male friendship recession and women's associated labor as a structural component of gender inequality. I have to say, though, that's a funny way of phrasing that the male loneliness epidemic is hurting women. And that's the gender inequality. Women feel like put out that men are lonely. This wasn't. I'm not doing this to gang up on Erica.
No,
No, we
I know.
Just,
no.
I'm just saying that is an oddly thing where it's like, man, these lonely men are really bumming us out, and it's making our lives miserable.
Well, I think it is from my perspective, I feel like it is a double-edged sword because it's like, let's be honest, I know I have done this for the last
20.
20 years
Oh,
on and off.
years.
That being said, it has something, it's been something that I have basically, you know, taken upon myself to
Mm,
do it because I truly believe overall everything will go more smoothly. He will be happier, all of this kind of stuff. But then at the same time, something that while I wish it might happen naturally, it doesn't always happen naturally. And so therefore I bring it upon myself and add more stress to myself. And then I end up getting pissed off. And then it's just kind of like this little cycle. Like
right.
I I I am at least, I guess, aware enough and realistic enough, knowing that I've done it to myself,
Hmm.
but and yet again believing that things could be better or would be better if you would have a connection outside of the home. And I understand how that sounds. I don't mean that kind of connection, but just an emotional friendship connection that you two have so you feel fulfilled.
But we have this already.
I know. I know, but
But for
I'm
it, like
saying
real life, it's like
yes.
I'm your internet
You're like
girlfriend.
my
You need a
AI
Yes.
buddy.
Yes.
you need a real. It's time for you to meet a real girl, Alex. Your internet
No,
girl is
you just
now.
need to put on the blue wig and then the
Oh my
little
God.
cutesy dress and sing Vocaloid.
Anyway, but it's basically for, how long I haven't brought it up recently about trying to get you to move down here because I truly believe that both of you will be fulfilled. So see, I'm even trying to man keep you and you
But
just
where
don't
would you
even
be in that
realize.
picture then?
Well, obviously we would be a throuple in terms of household, but not sexually, and then it would be
Obviously.
fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would just
sexually?
I would just be the live-in priest apparently.
And
I'm-
babysitter,
and
obviously.
babysitter. Well, yeah, I can do both.
You
Yeah.
could be the living Dr. Fraser
Or
Crane.
maybe like a monk, more of a monk than a priest.
Friar.
Anyway.
What I'm getting at though, and what you've illustrated, Erica, is that I feel like in the nurturing instincts of women in general, not all women, you also want to look out for the well-being of your spouse.
Yeah.
But would Alex be miserable if he wasn't encouraged to do things? I don't know. Maybe he would be. But I know that like for me, it would breed a little bit of like, it'd go back and forth. It'd be like, oh, I'm really glad that girl made me do thing. And then there'd be days where I'd be like, why am I here? Why would you ever think I'd want to be around this? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and it is, I guess, probably a balance, let's say.
Yeah. It depends on, I think it comes down to really like the type of scenario where it was like, oh, I didn't expect it to be a good time, but I'm very glad that she was able to like coerce me to come along for this thing. And then there's sometimes where it's like, we're doing the same shit we always do with the same group of people, and I don't want to do this. Let me just have a day to myself or something like that.
Day
So,
to yourself, that must be nice.
yeah, must be.
Oh my goodness. Well, when you say a day to yourself, do you mean a day like with the kids? Like Alex, you would just take the kids and Erica can go do her own thing?
Yeah, I mean, she
And-
kind of does that sometimes, but
Or
it's
you're
just
like,
kind of
Erica,
like
you
if
take the kids
kid-
and leave me home and let me just play video games.
Oh, I tried
But
doing
that's-
that. I did that last weekend. I gave you your time.
I did.
Great.
Yeah, I got to
We
work
we
on a model.
we both
so.
did that a little bit, but
Mhm.
I took the kids like midday. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Menards and then I'm gonna go grocery shopping after, give him some time. And then once we walked into Menards, I instantly fucking regretted it.
Springtime savings are yours at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
So, Alex, you were talking about Gilmore Girls before we started recording
Your favorite
because
show, apparently.
instantly Alex was like, "Oh, that's Gilmore Girls."
There's a very comfy small town Americana type of show. I never really sat down. My mom would watch it. She used to watch that and Buffy and Angel and Charmed, and I'm like, okay. I used to watch. There was another show called Ed that was kind of similar to that, where like an older person, kind of not older, but like 30-ish, mid to late 30s.
Older at the time.
Yeah. Like person like in the mid 30s kind of returns back to their hometown and kind of readjusts and reacclimates to all the changes and the current environment there and stuff like that. So it's just like, oh, well, I like it. Yeah, no,
Okay.
So Gilmore Girls.
pointless.
Jeez. In terms of more emotional man keeping, the episode of Gilmore Girls were Lorelai and Sookie. I thought Sookie was just
Lorelai and Suki.
Sookie. She was from
Sookie
True Blood.
Stackhouse.
Yeah, True Blood. I know that show. Force their significant others to hang out largely against their will. Feels relevant. And that's the aspect of the man keeping that I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah.
Where it's like you got two dudes who don't really want to be around each other and would rather do nothing. And then women feel compelled to push them together and make them be friends. And then they're
It's
like,
basically the adult version of setting up a play date for your kids.
yeah. And men would never do that to women. I don't think it would ever happen.
Oh, the vitriol that would come as a result of that.
But women would never like. Well, men would never even feel any like it would never. The idea would never enter in their mind of like, oh, my wife is lonely. I should find her a friend.
Yeah, yeah. It
you
just
know.
Yeah.
But women
I don't
will.
even know how that would happen. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It never. In the history of human civilization, no man has ever thought my wife needs a friend. I don't think that that's ever happened.
I'm their friend.
I think honestly, it comes from. It comes from, I feel like. At least from my perspective, I try to, okay, I really enjoy hanging out with this person. What if, oh my God, if I would introduce them to their husband, maybe they would have just as good a time. And like as a couple, things would mesh. And now, as a family, our kids like playing with their kids. And so we try, hope that, that ideal situation could come about.
Yeah. I think the one issue that sometimes happens with that is, well, the biggest issue is that I think the prerequisite to have guy A hang out with guy B in the initial setup is like, you're both guys, and that's where it kind of ends. It's like there needs to be some other types of shared interests, common interests and things like that, where it's just like, oh, you like
you guys both drive a car.
There's
talk about cars. Guys like cars.
Yeah, there's a bit
you guys
that,
both have a set of balls.
Well, there's a bit, actually, it's pretty old. I think it's at least like 15, if not 20 years old. There's a Chris Rock bit where he talks about his wife doing the same thing, where he goes there and he's like, he's like, my wife takes me here and she puts me here with a bunch of guys, and I don't know these guys, and they're like, oh, you like sports? I like sports. We all like sports. Yeah, we like sports.
And you in some room with some stranger going, I like baseball. I like baseball too.
We just take our husbands, we put them in a circle, and we just expect them to, have fun and play with each other and stuff like that. And it
But this, but when Chris Rock was saying it, and this is the only reason I take any issue with this, is that when he was saying it, it was just something that women did to almost amuse themselves as much as entertain their husbands. Now this is something that men are doing against women, being self-reliant and, let's say, more loner centric, is somehow egregious. Like, women feel like it's their responsibility to fix it, when in reality it's just like it's something they want to do, and maybe they feel like they care about their partners and it will make their partners happier and make the families, create communities, and that's all great. But it's not like men are like, because as this article continues to say, what is wrong with man keeping? On the surface of things, there might seem to be nothing so terrible about making sure your partner is socially supported. But a key aspect of man keeping is that it's unreciprocated. Do you feel upset, Erica, that Alex is not trying to introduce you to female coworkers or something?
I do not. I will say, in terms of, like, I don't want to be like, I have tons of friends. I don't need anyone to introduce me to, more people. But he does do a very good job of, if I set up like a lunch or I want to go get a pedicure or something, he's like, no, yeah, you go do that. You need some time. And so
the Cubs baseball game that got rained out. It was going to be like a girls' overnight trip.
It was
and stuff
so
like
relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it was kind of like this.
That was so depressing. Whenever visitors come to Chicago, I feel like responsible for the city.
It's all your fault.
Like the rain was like it's just like, I need you to have a really good experience here, please.
You're like the representative for the
Yeah,
city.
it is. It's like an
You know?
ambassador. And then it's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't rain every day, I promise.
Well, this is just a weird weather
I
front
mean,
this evening.
it just got to a point where it was entirely comical. Like I had just gotten to a point where like not give a fuck, and streets are flooding, and I'm like
Oh my
skipping
God.
across the street because I'm just completely soaked. And yeah, it hadn't it did not have a baseball game. Like, okay, it's fine. And then like I'm
I thought it was a great game too, man.
oh God,
No,
don't
yeah,
just
like, see, this is where you don't need to
oh
speak.
God.
Because
Okay.
that was the other part of it where I was like, oh no.
Brendan understands.
Yeah, I do
like,
get this. I get
and
this
I
for
know
sure.
had you if you would think about it, you would get it and understand it as well. But like
No, I do understand. I
I-
just kind of said that as like,
It's a
I know.
joke.
haha.
I
Yeah.
know, I know. But yeah, like, and I did want the text and everything. I did want to know how it was going, but at the same time, it was a double-edged sword. Like, okay, I'm at a nice restaurant. Like, let's not start crying. Oh, got a game ball. That's so awesome. Oh my God.
We had
Anyway.
SpaghettiOs and Spam.
At least he
Anyway.
continued the season. Like that wasn't the last game
Yes.
of the season, so
Yes.
you were able
Oh,
to
God,
continue.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
that, I mean, I was sitting there being like, well, at least it's not the last game.
Yeah, but
So.
anyway, he has always done a very good job of no, you need your own time, and always trying, does a very good job of trying to like, hey, I'll take the boys fishing. Turns out maybe it's only going to be 2 hours because the boys are being
10 minutes.
pain in the ass, and they're like, I don't want to fish, like so.
Boring. We never catch
Or
anything.
there's
Yeah.
a fish disaster. I remember the story of you trying to get the hook out of the fish's mouth, and then it got stuck, and there was blood everywhere, and then you just like threw everything into the river and ran away. It's like the pole and the fish and everything else gets into the river.
The child, just no,
Car
chuck it
we
all
drove
in.
in.
Just start over.
That was last Sunday. That wasn't that, but it was like all of a sudden I had like I think done some dishes and then just sat down at the computer and they walk in. I'm like, what the oh my God. Anyway,
Yeah,
so yeah.
I do take a little bit of issue with the fact that when they say that it's unreciprocated, I think it would be like it could be reciprocated, but the biggest um pitfall that guys would possibly fall into something like that would be that trying to introduce their significant other to another woman, which would potentially
Why do you know this woman? Why are you talking to this
potentially
woman?
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
It's just
see
like,
someone
oh,
came
this
out,
is somebody you work with and you kind of know all this stuff about her. It's like, how well do you know her? Why do you know so much
Yeah.
about her? And then
Why are
it
you
becomes
texting with her? Why do you have her phone number?
yeah, it's like
Oh.
she's thinner than me
Well,
and she's
So
Didn't have to go there, but
I'm
okay.
just saying like she's blonde.
So when I
Or she's
when
a
I
ginger.
Just stop.
A fiery ginger.
Stop talking.
Jesus.
But I mean, that would be
I know.
that could be potentially something. So you need to find a guy who's just as schleppy and sloppy as me.
Oh,
Or you could
okay.
just hook me up. You could introduce me to Henry
you up.
Cavill, and then the two of us would play with our little Warhammer.
I'm fine
It would
with
be a
that.
great time. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
When I first started working, there was an intern that asked me to stay after work and help them work on a film that they made.
Ooh.
And I was telling my girlfriend, hey, I'm going to be late tonight. I'm working on this film after hours. And so this went on for like 2 months. And it was like every other day, stuff like that. Work till like 7 or 8 after work.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Christmas party came. And I'm at this party at the one of the boss's houses with my girlfriend. And I'm like, oh, this is the intern. And I got an earful on the way home about that because the intern was like a 20-year-old or 19-year-old girl that was like a student at one of the colleges in Chicago. And my girlfriend was not amused by this revelation that I had been spending 6 extra hours a week.
Late nights
working with the intern who was a 19-year-old girl. I didn't think anything of it. It just was like, I'm working with the intern.
It's like, I need to pay bills. I got to do this.
And from like, I know you, and from an outside perspective, like, no, there's not an issue. But I could also kind of understand understand that. Like, it is not a good response. That shouldn't be the initial response, but I can still understand where that came from, because I would, at least in my opinion, that is an issue with their confidence, which I would have a similar reaction, I'm sure, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't think that she was wrong in her react. I mean, I think in terms of how she handled it, she was wrong, but her initial shock, and if I was a much more mature, emotionally immature person at that age, I was like 25 years old. So it wasn't like willfully withholding information as much as I just didn't even consider that I should probably tip her off to this and be like, I just kept saying the intern, because that's what I didn't say. The intern, I don't even remember her name, but whatever the intern's name was, it was just, I'm saying, she didn't ask, but I just kept saying, I'm helping the intern with the movie after work. Okay.
You weren't doing it on purpose. It's just something that never, didn't occur to you.
Yeah, exactly. But the reciprocation part, like, so it's like man keeping can look like a woman organizing a husband's social calendar, buying birthday cards on behalf of a boyfriend or his friends, or providing the primary emotional support for a brother.
Well, that's how they see that relationship.
Without receiving similar labor in return. So even like Alex does not seem to fall into that category no matter what. Like there is a reciprocation of responsibilities, especially towards the children.
Yeah. Well, like also like the whole, wait, what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Continue.
Do you feel guilty or something?
What?
Alex? Do you feel guilty, Alex?
No. Regarding like the social calendar, like if I was to organize like your social calendar, like, I mean, there is a little bit of preferential treatment given towards potential social events that you are interested in doing. But then if I was to go and like if the guy was to basically do that, it's like, oh, we're gonna go and I got tickets to a football game, we're gonna go that day. And like the wife's like, I don't really wanna.
If he tells her in
go.
advance, then I would be curious to see if it is like, okay, I am very type A, and I don't see you as being type A very much. And so I would be curious, like, whoops.
It's a microphone.
Alex punches the microphone like 20 times an episode. Every time it's like dunk, dunk.
But I would be curious to see if the roles were reversed, like if if we're talking about a heterosexual couple and the man is very type A and the woman is just kind of go with the flow. I would be curious to see like if he would, and if he were a social person, if he would tend to gravitate towards scheduling social, things on the social calendar.
Yeah.
The other issue is that Alex and I are both more casual people, casual demeanors. So we probably are.
What am I?
No, I wouldn't say, but like you like type A. I mean, Alex and I are much more.
I cannot say. If I say it, then I will get in trouble.
You like structure and order, and you're very confident. Like, for example, Alex and I would never go complain to the like what we were at a movie theater or something. I remember this. No. It's more being a Karen is like going after things you're not entitled to, but you feel like you're entitled to.
Like a baseball.
Oh God, I saw that.
Here, and his third since joining the Phillies. It's 5-1.
This other article takes a slightly different perspective. It references what the Vogue article was about, but just kind of frames it a little bit differently. And right here at the beginning, women no longer want to take on emotional support of their and social needs of partners. Mankeeping is, quote, downstream of decades-long cultural consensus that men and masculinity are fundamentally defective. And I actually thought I almost didn't read with this article because I thought it was some kind of I don't really know the week. I thought it was going to be some kind of like super right wing publication or something, but I looked it up and it's really not. I mean, right off the bat, there's stuff about why is Trump interfering with the New York City mayoral race. So they don't seem to be particular. The rise of the performative male. All right, so we've got an alternative thing. So they've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I'm not too concerned about that. This is some kind of weirdo website. They get into.
Oh, they actually referenced the article,
right?
Vogue too,
because that's like Vogue repopularized this. Okay. Women, though, say it can be draining to meet all of a man's emotional needs. Fair enough. Some young women even say it's driven them to celibacy. All right, now we're getting a little crazy. Among single men, 61% are looking for a relationship, but just 38% of single women want one. These women are opting out because they are, quote, weary of the emotional labor of supporting their partners through daily challenges and encouraging them to meet up with their friends. That is weird. That's just a relationship, is taking on emotional liability back and forth.
It's kind of, it's interesting because then you also hear like a very similar thing for like guys nowadays where like, they're just opting out themselves also, from trying to find a relationship. So it sounds like this is almost making it sound like both men and women are opting out of it, and that's why you end up having a lot of other type of social demographic issues with that.
Well, you're talking of the MGTOW, MGTOW.
Yeah, all that whole gamut and stuff. But here it sounds like women are also doing kind of a similar thing because they don't want to deal with it.
So since Erica isn't an online incel like Alex and I are, MGTOW is men going their own way, MGTOW, and it was some kind of something about like women aren't providing what we need from a relationship, and so we're not interested in relationship with women anymore. And now you've got these women saying men are too much of a pain. We don't want to be involved with them. We're going our own way too. So you've got this like shift in relationships where half the people don't want to talk to the other half, which is probably why we have a birth decline for the past 50 years. This goes.
And you also hear. Go ahead. Also the way like on I know like dating apps where it seems like there's way more men that would select or like or swipe whichever way it is on Tinder or whatever, for pretty much a wide range of different women, but then women will always go towards this like top 5% or 10% of guys that they're all going to try to compete and stuff, and that's kind of another thing.
It's capital. It's supply and demand. It's like dating apps are the women can afford to be a lot choosier because there are a lot more of them on these dating apps than there are women, which leads into what is considered to be sort of a trade imbalance that is going on dating websites. In my experience, that is kind of true, but that's a whole other topic. This gets into referring to the collapse of traditionally male civic institutions like churches, bowling leagues, veterans organizations, etc., which I think has a little bit of truth to it. I think that there are, like, let's say, traditionally patriarchal, and there's that word, social things that were popular, men's social clubs that were places where men met and talked and hung out. Those things have kind of died and gone away and have shifted either towards like online video games or I don't know what else. What else do men do?
Shit post on forums.
No, that's what we do.
Oh, that's
what do normal men do? Normal men don't stay up till 4 a.m.
Go to and watch sports.
Posting on 4chan.
Yeah. It's a good question because like churches, I mean, those things kind of ebb and flow. I wouldn't say they're traditionally male oriented and stuff like that or focused, but it's they would kind of do that. Bowling leagues, that's kind of, I think, like a generational thing of some sort, where there needs to be, where younger generations kind of find it kind of ironically niche of some sort. You know, they're more into pickleball or whatever they do. And then veterans organizations, I mean, that's like, okay, well, that's towards people that were in wars. And I
This
mean,
this
the
reads
only guys our generation would be into it were guys that were like got sent to Iraq or Afghanistan and stuff, but they're
this
very young compared to most of the people in
this
those.
reads like it was written in the 50s. Like
Yeah.
churches,
Mhm.
bowling leagues, and veterans organizations. These are the three things that you refer to. Like,
Yeah.
really? That's a little odd.
Yeah.
So that
Supper
is
clubs.
yeah, supper clubs, or like poker games, going to play poker in other guys'
Tiki
basements.
bars
Well,
and stuff.
It
Yeah.
definitely made it sound like, okay, men aren't finding the 1950s housewife waiting for them at home, you know, in their dress and apron, handing them a cigarette and a beer with dinner on the table.
That's why we needed Erica on the show, because you and I would have been like,
Yeah.
"Yo, we don't
Sorry,
get
not happening.
we don't get to have our 50s churches, bowling leagues, and veterans organizations."
Not ironing your shirts in the morning or
Just wanna-
ever. Sorry.
Just want to
I have ironed your shirts before though.
have an
so.
old fashioned waiting when you get home.
Yeah. No.
We just want the Roman Empire again.
Good luck with that.
Well,
so
there's a chance.
so this stuff doesn't really track, but I do kind of agree with this last point they make. The term is condescending. Most terms that end with dash keeping involve inanimate objects or animals, housekeeping or beekeeping.
Okay.
Men suffering from a genuine problem with social isolation. It doesn't help anyone to give their struggle a derisive name. It makes them sound burdensome and not quite human. I agree to a point. However, if the men are just like being like vampire bats and sucking all the life out of the relationship, then I think that's more of the problem than their social isolation and stuff. This sounds like they're framing it around men who are kind of loners and don't want to really hang out with other guys. But what it really sounds like, it's the dude who's sleeping on a girl's couch, who doesn't have a job, who's just like mooching off of the relationship and then is a bum. And then the woman, for whatever reason, feels like they need to keep this relationship alive.
Let me ask you guys, Beatles, Stones, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
All in.
Beatles.
You don't care.
And the other thing about this that's tricky is that women say they want men to be more open with their emotions, but sometimes they like to think that they want them men to be more open, but then they are a little like, oh, he's very whiny now. What's with all
he starts divulging, or basically, sharing with stuff, and it's just like it gets to a point where it's almost like you need to stop being a baby, stop being a whiny bitch about stuff, and man up. And it's like,
stop complaining.
You literally didn't want me to be like that. You told me to be the opposite. I am the opposite, which is what you wanted.
I think with most things, it is walking a fine line. It's finding a balance, because I mean that is one thing about. I just assumed, I pretty much talk with my close friends about anything and everything. And, some things it's okay, maybe it's something I might tell a coworker. Other times it's even like, no, this is between you and me. It goes nowhere kind of thing. I just assumed, like especially with you two, as long as you guys have known each other, I just assumed that you guys pretty much talked about everything. And whenever I found out that was not the case, I was very surprised. I just didn't expect that.
Yeah, well, I think also like in certain types of different relationships have different layers of, I guess, security involved with them, or just like what you can and what you normally do and don't necessarily talk to them about.
Different levels of comfort.
Yeah, and I mean, Brendan with me, he has very, very high security clearance and stuff like that. But then there's also very high security clearance for you.
Right.
But those two are mutually exclusive, and they don't really.
Yeah.
You mean for you as in me? Wait, what?
For stuff that I discuss with you that I wouldn't necessarily or don't
Okay, sorry, I was
discuss with him, and
misunderstanding.
vice
Yes.
versa. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
Like the stuff like I talk with you or with him, I would never divulge with that like random female coworker at
No.
work, because first of all,
It's okay. Anything you tell me, I'll just tell Brendan on our weekly phone
that's
call.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. But I also think going back to like the way men in relationships, like we are fine having very small, intimate friendships that are long lasting and stuff like that. We don't need to have everybody, because the problem is like, I think with you sometimes with the bigger your circle of uh, friends become, there's a lot more social requirements for you to have to go and meet and kind of do it for. You're almost like, you know, Henry the Eighth, and he's traveling and has to visit all of his castles and need to see everybody.
And now I
and
must
stuff like
behead
that.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too much,
You
social
get a beheading
requirements.
and get a beheading.
Let's see. Married. Wait, no.
I literally just finished
Divorced,
watching.
beheaded,
watching
died.
the
Divorced, beheaded,
beheaded,
survived. There we go. That's what I was trying to get
Yeah.
to. Thanks. And I'm not going to go through them.
Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn.
Here we go. Oh, you just watched it? That's cheating.
Seymour,
Yeah, Jane Seymour.
Anne of Cleves.
Yeah, and then the
That teenager.
I have no idea where. I don't remember now.
And
what her
then
name was.
the last one, I don't remember what it was. I don't feel like opening up Wikipedia either.
Anyway.
Anyhow,
yeah.
Luckily, you don't have to travel to meet your wives.
No.
Yeah, so I just think that this is just still men and women trying to relate to each other, even though it's always been difficult to have different emotional structures are different between men and women, but usually people make it work, and that's the spirit. Like be like Erica and Alex and find a way to make it work.